Father, in Jesus' name, let the words of my mouth, meditation of thy heart, be acceptable in thy sight. Oh Lord, you are my strength. You are my redeemer. In Jesus' name. Come on, all God's people say, amen. Come on, put your hands together one more time if you love the Lord. Come on, if you really love him. Come on, we honor the Lord this morning. We honor the Lord this morning. We give honor to the set man of this house. Yes. My brother, what a friend. What a friend. And certainly thank God for his lovely wife. Very hospitable. Thank God for who she is. And certainly to all of the parishioners here. What a friend we have in Jesus. Yes. What a friend we have in him. And the old folks say, oh, well, needless pain in there. All because we don't take everything to God in prayer. I tell you, somebody said, can we find one who's faithful? I tell you, I love the Lord today. Certainly some trust in horses, some trust in chariots. But we alone trust in the name of the Lord, for the name of the Lord is a strong tower. Yes, where the righteous run therein and they are safe. Kind of like David, I would have fainted had I not believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living thereof. Somebody said, thank God for patience. They're talking how to wait. And we're grateful this morning. There is a word from the Lord this morning. Won't be before you long. One thing about the Lord, he doesn't have to take all day. In fact, he can do it, as the brother says, suddenly. But thank God for grace in the meantime. 1 Samuel, the 30th chapter. I want to just lift 2 verses from here and see what the Lord has to say.
Reach here, man.
1 Samuel, the 30th chapter. Round about the 4th verse. Then David and the people that were with him lifted up their voice and wept until they had no more power to weep. And David's 2 wives were taken into captive. And Abraham, the Jezreelite, and Abigail, the wife of Nabal, the Carmelite. And David was greatly distressed, for the people spake of stoning him, because of the soul of all the people were grieved, every man for his sons and for his daughters. But David encouraged himself in the Lord his God. And David said to Abiathar, the priest, Amalek's son, I pray thee, bring me hither the ephod. And Abiathar brought thither the ephod of David. And David inquired of the Lord, saying, shall I pursue after this troop? Shall I overtake them? And he answered him, pursue, for thou shalt surely overtake them, and without fail recover all. Now let's go ahead and put the disclaimer. I understand that because of being in ministry in the length of time, I understand that the word is not for everybody, so I do understand that this morning. But I came for a couple of folk this morning, whether you be male or female, that has lost some of everything. You may have tangible things, but you've lost everything on the inside of you. So I understand this morning that I've got to identify with my crowd, because I know I won't get a hallelujah and a thank you, Jesus, from everybody. But there are a couple of folks sometime between January 2017 to November 2017, well, it feels like they have lost everything. Feel like the value or the core value that they had on the inside of them has been drained and emptied by the cares of life. So I do understand that I didn't come for everybody. But I came for a certain kind of folk this morning that have made up in their mind that this is the season that God has proclaimed that they're going to recover all. Now, it's not hard this morning. Somebody said, if you don't make it hard. But it's easy this morning. The only thing that you have to do is repeat after me. God said that this is my time to get it back. Now, I do understand that some of us make the sad mistakes of coming to worship service and sit by the wrong folk. I do understand that. We like to sit next to boo-boo. We like to sit next to sister this, that, and the other. We like to sit next to our friends. And seemingly, it seems like throughout the course of this year, some of these same ones have not encouraged us one moment to get from where we are. So I do understand that. It's okay that you can hang with some folk outside of church, and it's good. But at this moment, I dare not trust the freest flame, but hold a lean to Jesus' name. I do get it. So do me a favor. If you feel uncomfortable this morning, if you feel uneasy because of this next moment and because of this next dimension that God is getting ready to shift you to, if you feel like that you have wasted time and energy sitting next to the wrong folk, I give you permission this morning to move off the road, because this new season, this new dimension that God is getting ready to shift you to, He won't allow you to waste that time. So if you sit next, let me help you understand how you sit next to a hater, because you do understand. And I ain't messing with nobody this morning. I didn't come to mess with nobody. I don't work all week. I'm tired in the body. Want to go home and rest, but there is an assignment to be completed. So I didn't really come this morning for a whole bunch of fanfare. In fact, I brought my own hallelujah, so it's all right too. But even in the midst of that, there are most of us that have lost everything on the inside of us. But let me help you to identify what a hater is. A hater is somebody that knows that you've been going through everything since you last talked to them. But when they see you praising God, they won't help you praise God. A hater is a kind of person, see, we got the wrong disclaimer of a hater. We call hating folk that's hating on everything that's on the outside of us. Oh my God. That's what we call haters, folk that are hating on what we're driving, where we're standing, what kind of degrees we got. But there are some other kind of haters that I'm trying to help you identify this morning. There are some folk that don't really want to see you praise God to your next level. Oh my. So if you are sitting next to those kind of folk, you have my permission to move this morning. But let's sit. Let's dialogue here.
Go to work, sir. Right, you already right.
Well, let's look. In life, there are things that happen beyond the control, things that we can't always plan, things that seemingly we can't put our hand on. There are things that happen in our lives, things that we can't understand why it happened to us. Most of us, as we sit in the room and as we look back over the course of 2017, there are some relationships that we don't know that really why they were severed. We felt like we found the right girl, or felt like we found the right dude, felt like it felt so good, felt like, we had embraced and embarked upon the right fellowship, like we had got everything right. But seemingly here in 1 Samuel, the 30th chapter, David, understand who David is. David is a man of valor. He's a man of character. He's a man that really needs no explanation for who he is and what he does. He's been counted on as a faithful armor bearer. He's been counted on as king. He's been, not above all that, he was anointed even before the onset. God had chosen himself. And most of us, as we look back over our lives, there are even hidden treasures, hidden potentials that most of us can't even understand what really is inside of us. But there are people, not just in this room, but people, as we reflect back over our life, that have held us up for their own selfish reasons. There are people that saw that we could have been more, would have been more, should have been more. But there are people that because they knew that more would cause them to take a back seat in our life, they wouldn't allow us to become more. And most of you, as you really understand David, as we try to lay a foundation to the text, David was one that was wounded at a young age. He was one, and even in the midst of obscurity, even in the midst of dealing with people in his life, one of the most frightening things is when you got somebody in your family, sis, that will hurt you. And you don't expect hurt oftentimes to come from within. You expect hurt to come from on the outside. Ones that don't really know you, ones that really don't know, much about you. They don't know where you've been. But it's different when you have folk that know what it took for you to get to where you are. That's why I believe David said that he could have taken it a little better had it been his enemy that did it. But when it was the folk that was sitting right at his table, it made it hard for him to understand how in the world could it happen. So as we look at the text, I want you to understand that David, I said, Lord, you got to help me lay it here. David had a mental relapse. If you look at the text, David had a mental setback. And let me help you to understand, most of us, by having the opportunity to work in the mental field by way of food service, I thank God, because even with that, you have to be trained to handle every aspect of the job. I know I cook in the back, but just because I cook in the back, I have to be able to diffuse or use coping mechanisms to be able to help diffuse the situation of somebody that's sitting out there in the cafeteria. So they give you a certain amount of training so that you'll be able to, no matter where you sit, you'll be able to diffuse the situation. And that's what God does. I don't care where you're sitting in your life. He gives you everything that you need to equip you to get you to where you're going. So I don't have a whole lot this morning, because I tell you, I say what they say, and when they're done, I sit down. But one of the things that I heard God say this morning, that it is because of who you are that identifies where he's going to take you to. See, David had really no help. Do you really understand? He had no help spiritually. Do you understand? He had physical capacity. And see, let me help a brother here. It's good to go to the gym. It's good to work out. But brother, man, let me tell you something. When you fall in trouble, let me tell you, your real fight ain't with your biceps. Your real fight ain't with your pumping weights and doing all that stuff. Your real fight doesn't really start there. But your real fight starts by taking posture, not in the, whatever they call them things. I ain't been to the gym in a long time, can't you tell? And you won't have to lift weights to carry weight. Yeah. You don't have to lift weight to carry weight. And I see most of us think that the more we lift weight, the more it reduces the weight. But it's how you handle the weight that you carry that makes it easy to reduce. And most of us, what we tend to do, because we're men, we tend to, oh, help, Lord, yeah, it is what it is. Most of us tend to hide behind our ego. Well, I guess he just shifted. I come from the whole house, but let me work right here. And the reason why it's so important as a man to hold down the posture of not being strong, but yet being able to be broken in strength, is because you set the tone for the house. See, let me tell you something. It's good when she lays up on you. It's good when she rubs you down. It's good when she, she's your Tylenol after you come from the gym. All that stuff is good. But you got to be able to produce a certain amount of strength for her that the gym won't give you. See, let me help a sister out. You looking for him because he's riding nice. And because he looks like he's got it all together, and he looks like that he stands in the strip, but really broke weak. Because as a man, those of you that are looking and still trying to identify when he's going to find you, take yourself down a checklist. If he doesn't have strength enough to carry you spiritually, he don't have strength enough to carry you really physically. Hello? If he can't take you spiritually, because he has to set the tone for the house. See, you know, most of us, it is what it is. Most of us don't want to be told when we're wrong. Now, I ain't going against the grain. I'm going to stay parked right here. Most of us had to learn that we were wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
Because everybody told us that we were doing everything right. We never had no need to be told that we did it wrong. So when we got it wrong, we didn't have strength enough to come back and say we're sorry. And so this same David, you do understand, this same David had to confront issues even before any battle he had ever fought. His real battle was dealing with himself.
Yeah.
He had to deal with himself. Oh, you know, it ain't no unfamiliar story. You know, David wanted Bathsheba so bad. He wanted her so bad that he just had to have it. That it cost him everything. It delayed his preparation. It delayed where he was supposed to be and how he was supposed to be. Because you got to understand, just because you were chosen and because you were anointed, it does not exempt from what you have to go through. All right. My oldest brother is 42 years old, very smart dude. You give him a set of numbers, he can break it down. I'm talking about give him some 9 figures. He don't need a calculator. He can break it down and help you to see the end result. But because he had such passion for numbers, he had such drive for money. And when you have a thrive for money, you'll do anything to get it. And so, not putting Brother Man's business out there, since it was already in the Virginia Palace about 2012, I can go ahead and tell it. Brother Man was one of the biggest drug dealers that had ever hit the Time Ward area.
My God.
He was trafficking or making probably, as the federal authorities said, somewhere about $1.2 million a month. And I said, here I am struggling and straining, and here he was a millionaire undercover. But when you love something, my whole point is that you'll do the wrong thing to get it. Now, he was smart, had entrepreneurship on his life, had a business, had this business, had that business, but it wasn't satisfying enough until he could get what he wanted when he wanted. And that's what David was. And in that light passion, after God had gutted David and rebuked him and made him repent and told him that the sword would never leave his life and never leave his house, God had no more problem out of David. David had become submitted forcefully. And that's what some of us brothers have to do, because we don't give in easy. We have to be submitted forcefully.
I see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what God does. And if you don't do it his way and do it the way that he wants you to do it, God will start allowing things to hit your life. He'll start allowing things to hit your family. He'll start allowing things to hit your relationship. He'll start allowing things to hit your life. He'll start allowing things to hit your friendship. He'll start allowing things to hit your time. And not only that, he'll start allowing things to conquer your ability to have faith, not who he is, but on what he's able to do. See, you have to understand, David was one that was not unfamiliar with battle, not one that was unfamiliar with hardship, but David had a problem. He had a problem with dealing with his household. See, God, brother, he knows how to get you down to your knees. God may not get you through your money. He may not get you through your job. He may not even get you through your woman. But when God starts messing with your children, and when God starts allowing things to hit you and hit the ones that you're living for, God gets a strange reaction out of David. And so it wasn't easy, or it wasn't hard for David to take the kind of posture that he took. When David went into battle, the first thing David did, you got to look at the onset. When David he already had been out of there fighting. First of all, he was already tired because he was fighting somebody else's issues. He was dealing with something else, dealing with the Philistines. He was already out there fighting against them, and he was already fighting because things had taken place and things that were just messed all up. David was already frustrated in his own self. But when he was on the way back home, he looked and David got a little bit uneasy. See, let me tell you something. That's why it's good to be transparent, because the real truth is, most of us that stand in the seat of leadership, somebody said it's frustrated when you see frustration on you. No, that's a good place when you see, frustration on the leader because it allows him to develop in a place that only God can see and not you. And so while David was sitting there dealing with his frustration, David didn't tell nobody. He didn't become alarmed, but David knew as he was coming down the hill and he started walking and started looking, David said, something ain't right here. David said, every time I went out to battle and the men were cheering and we were excited, David said, something wrong with this picture, because the men were so caught up on the victories that they already won, they couldn't understand that they were losing a battle at home. So while David was sitting out there, David started looking. David said, hold on, something wrong here. David said, every time I've ever fought a battle, he said, I saw the women and the children running down the hill because they heard the noise coming from up the hill, so they would meet us halfway. But David got kind of uneasy when they started walking. David said, now hold on up here. He said, now if Abigail met me the first time when she was with Nabal and fed me some raisin cakes and gave me some water, now that Nabal has been dead because he was foolish, and now that she's mine, well, hold on. Abigail met me every other time. Why she ain't meeting me now? So David got frustrated. David said, hold on, something ain't right here. David said, now hold on here. Look at here. David said, now every time I fought battle and every time I came and every time I won a victory, and loud as these dudes was, because you know how we are, brothers, when we win and we loud, we boisterous. Yes, we are. We like a wild man ourselves. David said, hold on here. David said, what in the world? David was already alarmed, but when he saw smoke go up, because you do understand on the onset of the text, it says that the enemy had invaded Ziklag and left the city burning, left it for nothing. Not only did David see the city burning, but when David got back to the city, he didn't hear familiar voices and didn't hear familiar sounds. He couldn't put eyes on his wife. And not only could he not put eyes on his wife, but he couldn't put eyes on his children. And he became alarmed. David, the scripture said, not only David, but the men began to weep. They began to weep until they had strength to weep no more. All I'd stop by to tell you is that God will allow you enough strength to cry over it until he gives you enough strength to leave it. Oh. He'll give you enough strength to cry over it until he'll give you enough strength to be able to get up and do something about it. So David said, hold on, I ain't going to cry over this thing. David said, all right. He said, all right. Now he said, David, his leadership ability began to kick in. David said, all right, it hit me first, it bothered me. But now David said, I got to get myself together. So David was caused to hide what he was feeling. He had to put what he was feeling on the back burner. And that's what we have to do as men. All the times we can't be so bothered about what's bothering us and what's worrying us. Sometimes as a man, being prophet, priest, and protector, you gotta set what you feel on the back burner and go by what the rest of the tone of the house is. If everybody else is crying and sitting there looking foolish, they can't always see you crying. They gotta be able to see you get enough strength to get up. And that's point number one. God gave David enough strength to get up.
Yes, sir.
See, most of you thought the sad mistake about the enemy is that he never can counteract what God's going to do because he's not omnipresent. Yeah. He doesn't know everything. He can't be here, there, and everywhere. Your enemy is not omniscient. Oh, no. He doesn't know God's plan and God's purpose for your life. So he can't be over here messing with you and messing with me at the same time because he doesn't have that kind of strength. Yeah. So if the enemy was in Ziklag and if he was coming with David, because that's where the real fight was. It was with David. But let me help some Davids in the room. The real reason why your house is messed up because your real fight that you're dealing with, the enemy's real fight is not with your children. It's not with your daughter. It's not with your son. But the real fight is with you because you set the tone for the house. You set the tone for the house. So David was trying to move. He was trying to get past his own hurts and get past his own frustrations. So the first thing David did, he did what was used to him. See, that's why men can't be afraid to worship.
That's right. That's right.
It ain't no sissy because you want to lift your hands. You ain't no punk because you want to cry. It's the truth. I'm old school. I'm sorry. Grandma said, can't come out a cup of what's in it. It's the truth. But so many men
I hear you, sir.
have been weakened by the facade of what folk want to make them. But the real thing is that God wants to break you. And when you get into moments of worship, that's when God breaks you so that he can develop you. See, God didn't just break David for nothing. He wanted to break him because he wanted to show the men that in the midst of everything that he was going through, the fact that see, y'all got to understand, I told you he was dealing with relapse. It's like it hit him again. Could you imagine David's mind? He's like, God, oh my God, it's happening all over again. Could you imagine the pain that he felt when he lost his firstborn son? It hit him again. It hit him again. He's like, Lord, when is, and that's most of us in this room, like, Lord, when is enough going to be enough? Lord, why I got to keep dealing with the same old stuff over and over and over again? Look like by now, ain't I outgrew that? Ain't I paid enough for that? But let me tell you something. There's a price to pay for God's anointing. There's a price. Most of us, you know, let me tell you something. When God has chosen you, and when he's anointed you, well, Lord, you ain't going to get no hoop today. I had it together, but it's the Lord. It's the Lord. When you get to a certain place in your life, when you get to a certain place, it ain't no more this, that. It's like, God, whatever you got to do to break me. You start taking the shortcut. You start telling God, look, you ain't got to take my money no more. You can have my money. You ain't got to take my house. In fact, I'll sell the house. Because when God gets you to a place that he wants you broken, let me tell you something. There's nothing nobody else can do until you take the cross. Until you take position. And that's what happened to David. He had one thing. After he had wealth and he got himself together, he said, God, I got one question for you. He said, I got one question. Shall I pursue? And most of us in this room, if you be honest, some of us are scared of pursuit. Because we don't understand what the outcome would be. We don't want to take the risk no more of saying, God, I want to go to this next level. But God, if I go to this next level, how much is going to cost me? See, it wasn't what God, you got to understand the text. It wasn't what God, David was trying to get to. It's what God was trying to get to David. God was trying to get, oh yes it is. God was trying to get David to a place that he had never been before. A place that he was familiar with, but a place that he had never really been before. Never in the text, and Lord have mercy, if I'm wrong, I'll come back and tell you because you're going to see me again. But never in my study of David have I ever seen in a text where God ever asked David if he could overtake his enemy. Because he always relied on his own strength. Out of almost 18 years of preaching, I promise you this fresh brother, I ain't never seen nowhere in the text or nowhere text that I ever studied in the life of David where David asked God if he could overtake his enemy. You hear what I'm saying? He was what, brother?
He was already equipped to do it. He just did it.
Huh? You hear what I'm saying? But David had got to a new place that God is trying to get every last one of us in this room. He's trying to get us to a place where we get out of ourselves. See, nothing will hold grace back. But look at your neighbor and tell him, but you. Nothing will stop grace to get to the next level. See, let me tell you something. See, I told you, I've been around, I've had privileged opportunities, and I've had an opportunity to sit with Bishop Paul Morton and serve him in certain capacities. I had an opportunity to sit with Bishop T.D. Jakes and be taught certain things about the Spirit. I've had certain privileges, but one of the most found privileges in my life was when God broke me. When he stripped me away from all of that. because you do understand, because of where I've been and how I've been, I should be a whole lot further than I am.
Right.
But I had to be willing to mentally step my own self back and say, you know what, God, I ain't ready yet. And see, that's what David was really telling. That's what he was showing the man, brother. Look, I got y'all through every other victory, but this one right here hits me in a place that only God can take us through. See, let me tell you something. It's not hard. It's not hard. All you got to do is identify that it's going to be easy. And if you can identify that it's going to be easy, then God will give you the strength to get through every hardship. That's the difference. And David, in this time, brother, David had the answer because he was anointed. He wasn't just anointed with the flap. The scripture said that he was anointed with the horn. It said there isn't a difference. See, when most people are anointed with the flap, it's just for a moment. But most people, when they're anointed with the horn, it's for a lifetime. But let me tell you something. Lifetime does not stop the moments of invention. It takes moments to be invented. You just don't get this overnight. It takes moments to be developed. When you can turn down your plate and say, God, everything that I ever learned, you know what, I turn it down. So David had become that little boy again. He had become Jesse's son again on the backside of the mountain when nobody ever knew his name. God had broken from the man that he was to the boy that he needed to be so that he could become the man for his family. That's all I'm trying to tell you. The difference between this battle is David was already peace. He was always fighting for everybody else. But this time God gave him strength to fight for his family. God, so I know I'm not coming hermeneutically sound, but it is what it is. God had gave him reconciliation. God restored something in him that had been broken for a long time. Look at all I'm trying to tell you. There are some wounds that most of us have carried over the course of years in ministry, but God didn't allow us to get healed. He allowed us to get broken. But the only way that we could get broken was we had to say that I was open. Huh? Okay. Oh, I know. Most people don't really understand it. But see, there was a story, and I ever told him if I ever went back to school and ever tried to get any more education higher than what I got, if I ever desired to get a doctorate or an divinity to a master's or something like that, I'm just old school. I got a BS. I'm sorry. But I said, God, what would it really take to me to get to the next level and to get to the next dimension? And it was simple, Pete. God told me you got to be true to nobody but your own self. See, the problem is, for years, I've done ministry for everybody else.
Come on, sir. That's it.
I helped everybody else. But I had to become like David. I had to become bold and selfish. Where I just wanted it for me.
My God.
Because I know if he did it for me, then everybody that was connected around me would get the result at the end. Because if he did it for me, he was doing it for them. Because everybody that was connected to me, he was going to bless them. Because of my faithfulness to him, everything that I sold into them, that God would give back to me. Everything that I lost pouring into them, that God would get me in a place where I could get it back from me. I promise you I had a whole bunch of who, Lord have mercy. I promise you. I promise you. But he's shifting us. He's shifting us. Come on, stand. I'm done. I promise you. I know it's unorthodox. It's unorthodox. But look, every hand is lifted.